Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dimitri and this is MG Owners Australia, and today I'd like to share with you 10 very important things that you need to know about LDV D90 specifically before you consider buying the car. These are not going to be just fluffy things like lights are LED or something. No. We're going to talk about all sorts of things, but very important things too, including warranty, including delivery particulars, including other kind of things that you probably don't want to miss if you're very seriously considering to buy an LDV car, specifically LDV D90, as gorgeous as this one standing in the background right now, in Australia particularly, but I think it would be applicable for different countries as well. Let's do this. Let's talk about it. Ten things that you need to know about, absolutely, hands down. The dealer is not going to tell you about these things. Some of these things are neutral, some of them are towards the good side, some of them are flat out bad. They are flat out bad things, okay? Point number one that you need to know about. First of all, the brand as LDV in Australia specifically is still in the early 2022. It is still considered to be a cheap and a niche brand associated with tradies without too much budget to spend on Hiluxes and more expensive kind of vans and other type of stuff. LDV provides cheaper vehicles. This is how LDV is still seen in Australia, and there is still a lot of work for the brand to do to make sure it's not perceived that way, to make sure that the dealer network is better, to make sure that the service centers are everywhere, to make sure that ultimately, it's not even just about perception of the public. Who cares about the public? It's about you and I and us owning these vehicles and having these vehicles serviced and having these vehicles delivered. So please keep in mind that while you're getting a much cheaper vehicle, you are buying into that subpar, like think third world country equivalent of the dealer network, of the dealer attitude, of the service centers, etc., etc. This car was delivered with empty tank. There was bare minimum of petrol there, like 1/5 of a tank of a petrol was here in this car when I bought it brand new. I understand petrol is expensive in Australia. I understand across the world same things are happening, but I've never bought a brand new car. It's still a brand new car in mid 30,000s Australian dollars, yeah? That is delivered with empty tank? Cheap, right? So think about that kind of stuff. Also, see this plastic thing, kind of like a peel that is supposed to be pre-delivery kind of prepared, I imagine. I am not supposed to deal with this stuff here and try to peel it off myself. Dealer presumably is supposed to take care of this in pre-delivery for me so that I don't have to deal with this bubble wrap stuck there and now I can't get it off and it looks ugly. But this is another example of the fact that the dealer is cutting corners everywhere. It's not the same thing that even MG has to offer. And by why I'm saying even is because, again, both LDV and MG, at least in Australia, belong to SAIC Motor Group. The parent motor group is funding all this stuff. They are deciding on the labels, but it is the same company. Yet MG is a lot more polished experience from what I had. We bought 2 cars from them not long ago. So keep that in mind. That's the first thing. You have to buy into it, my friend. Second thing is that the service centers, at least in Sydney for LDV, there are dealerships, but service centers, at least in the Sydney urban area, I'm not talking Central Coast, if you know Sydney. I'm talking about Sydney. I have to go to Parramatta to get my car serviced, my friend. If it tells you something, excellent. I'm not going to dwell on this point for too long because I have international viewers. They probably don't know what I'm talking about. The point I'm trying to make here for everyone now is the fact that because of this brand being still niche and kind of low on the, radar, I suppose, of the general market, general population, how the cars are spreading in Australia, we can buy cars from 2, 3, 4 dealerships. Yeah, there are 2, 3 dealerships kind of in Sydney area, without going to Central Coast. But to service it, I have to drive for quite a bit, like 30-40 minutes west, and somehow get my car serviced there and somehow drive myself back. It's inconvenient. Point is, it's inconvenient. Be ready for it, okay? All right. Now, Practical point number 3. Practical point number 3, my friend, is the fact that as soon as your car gets delivered, you will notice that when you lock the car, it does that annoying, very loud honk when it locks itself. Like honk, honk, lights are flashing, honk, honk happens, everyone knows that you have arrived, you are dazed. And at first I was scared that this is just a feature of the car and I will not be able to turn it off, because I already had experience with MG and their subpar infotainment and electronic systems. Absolutely nothing was telling me that I can turn it off, but you can. Thank God you can turn off that horn. So don't let that scare you, but be aware that that is the default setting of the car. This is something that's going to shock you and you'll be like, what's going on? Point number 4, same thing as with MG cars. For some stupid reason, the electronics here does not remember the fact that I don't want radio on. I don't want it on. I want it off. So regardless of you muting it, regardless of you tuning down the volume controls, still, next car, the car starts, it will turn on the radio automatically for you and it will start blasting at whichever volume that it decides, you know, whatever. You will, there is no way around it, you will have to every time press this very weirdly, I found it slightly weirdly signed kind of icon, but now that I look closely at it, it does look like an ugly speaker that has a line across it. Anyway, that's a mute button, so press that mute button and you'll be okay. So audio will be on. Now, next point, you absolutely do need a phone holder. Yes, it's a massive car, you look at all these shiny panels, you think, wow, that's a lot of space. It looks a lot more practical straight away compared to my old MG HS. I'm not gonna say my wife's MG ZST, because ZST still has a superior panel for the phone, in my opinion. It's slightly smaller, but I think it's much, much better, where you can throw your keys, throw your phone, other kind of stuff. You can tell that it's for it. Here, you have these shiny glossy surfaces, and they're clearly maybe not to get stuff dumped on them, but at the same time they are a little bit more horizontal and flat than I had the panels in MGHS, which is what makes this usable to throw my phone on and have the phone there. However, if you would like to connect your phone to the Android Auto system or Apple CarPlay, or generally if you would like to charge your phone with a cable, you would have to open this compartment here. And you have therefore then nowhere to put your phone, unless you put it all the way on the seat next to you, or unless you somehow chuck it here on top. But that's inconvenient and unpleasant and kind of looks horrible ergonomically, especially if you're driving somewhere long distance, okay? Which is why I'm telling you, you need a phone holder. Think about it straight away. There are frankly plenty of surfaces to either stick it to, like your holder, this ancient one that I'm using here, this contraption that I also record this video from. It's not perfect, but there are plenty of glossy surfaces that, say, a suction pad based phone holder can suck on too, which is good, which is a good thing, right? At the same time, the top panel here in front of me is fairly flat, so you can probably experiment with a couple of other types of phone holders or placements of the phone, okay? But keep it in mind, if you're doing a lot of long distance driving, you'd like your phone somewhere nearby, accessible to you, you will have to invest into, you know, some form of phone holder. Absolutely, no question there. Now, this car has auto start stop system. My MGHS, funnily enough, top of the range, did not have it, but this one does. It is on by default, and like radio turning itself on every time you start the car, this thing does not remember that you turned it off, and it will always turn itself on every single time, because it thinks it knows better, and it annoys me to no end. But it's a small price to pay, considering how much I got for the price that I paid for this car. Still, please understand and do your own research. Don't take my word for it, but I've done my research. I watched videos by very intelligent engineers, you know, other kind of people, who basically say, look, keeping the auto start stop system is not worth it. That's the end of the story. This is not a video about it, and I'm not an expert. But I can tell you, first of all, stop start system in this particular car is slow. I don't know how fast it is in Mercedes, but here it's slow. If you think that it will smoothly start and you will immediately start moving off a street light, no, there is 2-second delay. And in tight traffic where you want to be moving or where there are impatient people behind you, you will start feeling a little anxious and like displeased. So I recommend personally to look into the matter of the fact that it's not actually saving you that much fuel, this stop-start system. It doesn't, okay? And it only burns out your battery faster because it has to engage starter engine, starter motor more often. So just use common sense. Turn off the stop-start system. That is my advice to you. You're welcome. You can thank me later. While we're on it, let's talk about eco mode. I've done further research into eco mode. This car has eco mode. And you and I, as average Joes and Janes, by default always think eco mode means it saves the world and it saves the petrol and stuff, yeah? Well, it doesn't either. It doesn't, okay? Do your own research. Do your own research. But all that eco mode does in any car, and in this car as well, it shifts the tuning, the electronic tuning of when the car and when the automatic transmission allows itself to go from one gear to another. That's all it does. So for you to drive economically, in eco mode, in other mode, in any mode, you have to drive economically. And this is not a course on that, and again, I'm not a specialist, but the point is that it depends on how much of a lead foot you are. It depends on how much of city driving you're doing versus how much highway driving you're doing. It depends on so many different things. So eco mode is not going to save you. It's just going to make, in this car specifically, in my humble opinion and experience so far, it just is going to make the shifting of the gears in the automatic transmission feel awkward. It feels weird. It feels like you're taking off from a street light in eco mode and you feel like the car should be going faster, but it's not. Because it's resisting the switch of the gear. I don't know what it's doing. But you basically compensate by trying to press on the pedal more, and therefore you spend more fuel anyway. Anyway, keep it in mind. Eco mode is here. Auto stop start is here. Both systems, in my opinion, completely useless. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why, by the way. Yeah? Always welcoming everyone's opinions. Never pretend to be an expert. Just sharing honest impressions of a private owner of all of these vehicles. By the way, if you haven't liked the video yet, now is your chance to like it, because it helps me know that I'm doing something right and you enjoy it, and it helps YouTube know that it should show my videos to more people and bring more people to our little club, which is always more fun. For me, for you, it's great, okay? Okay, now let's talk about accessories. So the dealer will try to sell you accessories, lots of different accessories, and I'm not here to review all the accessories. I personally think that in Australia or in any sunny country, tinting, at least the back windows, is required, practically required. Too much sun. This car doesn't have sunroof. It's fine, I don't miss it at all. But tinting of the windows I ordered straight away. Tinting you have to pay for. It will cost you between $500 and $600 depending how you negotiate on the price of the vehicle, and it's worth it. Tinting is worth it. Weather shields. Weather shields can be installed on all windows, so that you can open all windows a tiny bit, but the moisture, the rain and stuff don't come in. I don't know if it's worth on all windows, including back ones, but on the front ones, it absolutely is worth it. Considering, and we will talk about air conditioning and we will talk about the fuel consumption in general in just a minute, but considering that the car is thirsty and air conditioning is not always required but always consumes more petrol, sometimes you will be absolutely fine just opening the windows a little bit and relying on your weather shields to not let too much air in and not let any moisture in and the rain in. But those two front things are fine, and when I was negotiating they were thrown in for free, but I don't think they're expensive anyway. Check with the dealer. Do not immediately buy into it if they want to charge you for it. Check, because on eBay you can buy them for like $160. $160 is nothing to sneeze at, but the practice shows that dealer wants to charge you a lot more for most basic things, such as floor mats and such as weather shields. So check. But weather shields, absolutely worth it in my opinion. Okay? Now, we started talking about air conditioning and stuff. I'm still a big fan that air conditioning controls are physical, that I can actually change the very quickly turn on, turn off air conditioning, change stuff with my hand here without having to tap on the screen. Love it. Personally love it, think it's a good thing, by the way. So that's a good feature. That's a great classic car feature I was missing in my MGHS. But speaking of how air conditioning affects the fuel consumption, and it always increases it, by the way, in case you're completely new to this, first of all, before you start wondering and researching, just like with MGHS, this LDV D90 takes 95 plus fuel, the more expensive basically fuel. But right now fuel prices are so weird in Australia and everywhere else that diesel fuel costs more than some unleaded fuels, and diesel fuel was always substantially cheaper because it requires less refinement. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this comment is even applicable anymore. I'm just trying to make you aware that this car takes the more expensive fuel. Fuel tank capacity is 75 liters, so if you're filling out to the full, it will be, at least in Australia, it will be well into $120, $130 right now by the prices that are in April of 2022. Prices might go down, prices might go obscenely up, but at the moment it does feel like it's expensive. Additionally to that, I haven't done yet a proper fuel consumption test in the city driving with this car yet, but I can tell you it's a thirsty vehicle. It's a very thirsty vehicle. It reminds me of my Jeep Wrangler in terms of just how much fuel it takes per 100 kilometers. So it's going to be a little on the expensive side in terms of fuel consumption is concerned. So please be aware of that. It's totally cool. It's totally fine. I mean, in terms of what else you're getting for all this goodness. But it is unfortunately what it is. Now, I briefly mentioned the accessories that the dealer tries to throw at you and tries to sell you. So weather shields I already spoke about, but specifically say floor mats. This car, if you're buying a base model, at least in Australia, at least mine, came without floor mats. I mentioned it briefly in another video. It has to be mentioned here in this list of things to know. It comes without floor mats, and floor mats they're trying to sell you are obscenely expensive, in my humble opinion. I'm showing to you the text exchange with a dealer, with the salesperson who was very helpful. She was very nice to me, but at the same time, she is bound by the prices put up by dealership and by the company. That's why she offered me these prices for the floor mats that come from LDV officially. Absolutely don't regret not getting those. I went on eBay and I bought my floor mats, adjustable size. You need to cut them a little bit to size. They are rubber. They are 80 bucks. 80 bucks. I saved quite a bit of money on them. And at the moment, and so far, 1,000 kilometers on the car right now, very happy with them. No complaints, nothing. They don't slide, they don't anything. They fit perfectly well. And unless you're Queen of England, you will be very, very pleased. You will not be offended by them. Okay? Now, finally, and I'm not even sure if we're at point number 10 yet, the final point is warranty. Warranty is very important because on the brochures and kind of maybe if you're looking to buy a used LDV, like a newish but used, okay, you don't get all this extra information, okay, and all you will see is that the car comes with 6 years warranty. 3 years is the manufacturer warranty, where everything is covered, and 3 years turns out to be this mechanical repair, whatever they call, dealer plan. It's kind of like a plan that they give you on top of 3 years of the manufacturer warranty. So to you, especially if you don't know, it looks like 6 years warranty, everything's covered. It's not. Very, very important, my friend. It's not. 3 years, everything might be covered. Hopefully I will never have to find out. But 3 years is manufacturer warranty. I can only imagine that everything is covered. Now, the 3 years on top that are included in the price is the free/standard version of this dealer repair or mechanical warranty on top, whatever you want to call it. Those 3 years, nobody will tell you up front, my man or my lady. Those 3 years of free version of that cover, they include only up to $1,000 per year, if I'm not mistaken, of repair costs that you may incur during that period of time. So let's say something breaks down and this has a cost associated with it. That cost is capped. That cost is capped to $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. Check with your dealer, but I don't think I'll be off by much, so I think it's right. $1,000 per year. When it comes to cars and things breaking, $1,000 is absolutely nothing. Imagine transmission failing, imagine something else failing like this. It's pretty scary perspective, right? And 3 years and $3,000 covering those 3 years is the total cap. So everything that could ever break, let's say on the 4th year of your ownership, transmission broke. All $3,000 would be absolutely guaranteed consumed by repair of that thing. That's it. You're done with the credit that you have earned for free from them. Do you understand what I'm saying? What they will try to get to the point of it, and not to pretend to be, again, a warranty or whatever expert. It's just what I found out. To get over that, they pretty much immediately, as soon as they deliver the vehicle and before you sign the papers, they try to sell you the premium or platinum, whatever the name is, of that cover of those same 3 years. However, that premium or platinum thing that you need to pay extra for, it covers you up to the cost of the whole vehicle. So during those 3 years, you could have a massive breakdown, massive something else happened, and you will get coverage up to the cost of the whole vehicle. There are other asterisks, question marks. I'm not pretending that this is a all-inclusive and exhaustive information that I'm giving you. All I'm trying to tell you is that when you're buying an LDV and you think, it's so cheap and I got 6 years warranty, no, my man or my lady, you got only 3 years warranty and a tiny little bit on top if you didn't pay extra. Full disclosure, I was very kindly offered by a very smart, knowledgeable and kind dealer that I dealt with. I was offered a pretty good deal to upgrade my extra 3-year coverage up to that premium or platinum, whatever it's called, level. And full disclosure, typically they charge $3,000 for it. So to your cost of the car, you have to add those $3,000 in your mind, minus whatever you're able to negotiate off, to the cost of the vehicle, if you want that full coverage, peace of mind type of existence. I simply did not have money. I did not have money. I wanted to fit into the money that I got from selling my MGHS, so I could not afford to put extra money, even though it was heavily discounted from those $3,000. But I still did not have extra money to put. I did not have $1,000 to put towards it, okay? But for you, the least you can do for yourself is be clear about what's included in the thing with your dealer. Maybe negotiate with them to throw it in for free. Good luck. I don't think you will ever be able to, because the cars are in demand, no matter how budget they are. So there would just be no leverage for you to try and negotiate that in. But please be aware that unless you get the premium second half of the warranty, or unless you're buying a second-hand LDV with that premium thing purchased, you are not covered for 6 years. You're covered for 3 and a tiny bit. All in all, summarizing, I hope you enjoyed these very honest impressions of a quite satisfied and happy overall private owner of this gorgeous LDV D90. If you did, again, and didn't like it, the video, please let me know why didn't you like it yet. No hard feelings, I just want to know what do I have to do right to make sure that somebody gives me a fist pump, and I very much appreciate it. To summarize, all these things are, to be aware of. Some of them are not good, such as dealer network is lacking, such as I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that this Parramatta service center that I have to drive kilometers and kilometers to goes well. Expensive fuel, slightly subpar warranty compared to even MG. I do not know what's going on, but I'm not happy about those things. But all in all, what I got and what you're getting here, my friends, is a Land Cruiser Fortuner or Land Cruiser Prado almost in terms of size. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. Build quality so far, fingers crossed, is very good. Is very, very good. I'm really enjoying this. You're getting this car for half price of that Land Cruiser, Fortuner, or Prado, whatever. In Australia, I got this car for $35,000-ish. 35 Australian for this. Oh my god. To get a new Land Cruiser Prado or Fortuna, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably need to pay, what, 60 grand? 60 grand easily. So half price. With all these cuts in terms of like, infotainment system is not good, you need a phone holder, fuel is a bit more expensive, and dealer network is not great. Come on, mate. It's still such an amazing deal, no? So that's all I have for you today. I really, honestly, genuinely missed you guys and girls to talk to you in the comments down below, as I always enjoy. I always welcome your questions as well. More videos are coming about this LDV. When I was putting together this list, I was like, 10 items, yeah. And I could immediately come up with like 15. And I can keep talking about these items. For example, quick preview. You can watch YouTube. You can watch YouTube on this screen if you're mad enough. On the car infotainment screen. If you're mad enough, you can. So anyway, that's something for us to talk about next time. That's what I meant by saying it's a little preview in case you're interested. So subscribe for more, leave a comment. I'll be speaking with you next time. Dimitri out. See you later. Bye for now.